What's going on, guys? My name is TeftyTeft and welcome to another episode of Destiny. Today I want to talk about House of Wolves. Yes, I have not made a video yet about the recent updates, and for the podcast I was sick. I had a bunch of allergies. I couldn't be sneezing every 5 minutes. That would be bad, right? So first up, let's talk about the raid, or the lack of raid. Yes, it is very big news, and on one end depressing, but on the other end a very bright future. For one, I do not want Destiny, or I do not want Bungie to release a raid that is half-baked. I think what they did was looked at the numbers of Crota's End and Vault of Glass, and I'm speculating here. In fact, a lot of this video is going to be speculation, so keep that in mind. I think they looked at the numbers, and they saw that the Vault of Glass replayability was exponentially higher than the Crota's End replayability. I think they dug in and saw that people enjoyed Crota's End up until they got the gear, and then dropped it. Whereas Vault of Glass is an enjoyable 6-player experience. People want to keep on playing that raid because it's fun overall. Not to say that Crota's End isn't fun, because it is fun. I've had a great time doing it. I've had a great time in Reset Raiders doing it. But if I compare the two, and if I had a choice between one or the other, I would pick Vault of Glass as a personal favorite. So, if they're going to make a better raid because they don't want to have another Crota's End, I'm up for that, because I would like an experience that's going to be at least an hour long once you're good at it, because that's basically what Vault of Glass is. It's about 40 minutes to an hour, depending on gear level and people's knowledge of the raid. And when it first came out, it took hours for people to complete, because it was difficult. Whereas Crota's End, we smoked through, just bam. I mean, on normal, you could knock it out easily in 20 minutes, and that's taking your time. So I'm hoping that they're taking those notes into consideration and making an awesome raiding experience for the future. So what does that mean to light level? And what does it mean to the upgrading gear and all that? My speculation on this is one of two things. First off, when Crota's End came out, the Vanguard gear was basically made useless within a week. You hit level 31, and as soon as you start getting gear from Crota's End, you could pretty much hit level 31 within a week or two when it first came out, if you had multiple characters and all that stuff. So I think that they're trying to make the Vanguard gear more useful initially. And I think that's good, because they make all this cool armor, and then it's basically useless after a week or two. And I don't know, I like using armor for a little bit before I end up chucking it in the trash or dismantling it. So maybe what they're trying to do is first make the Vanguard gear useful initially, and potentially revisiting the raids with a higher level cap, which a lot of people have been talking about that, how interesting it would be if you go back to Vault of Glass and do a level 34 raid. And I think that would be really cool, because with an expansion, they have to increase the light level. At least we're all assuming that, because that's how these MMO/light MMO RPG style games generally go with expansions. You get a level cap increase, and that's what Crota's End did as well, or the Dark Below. So I believe that they have to do that somehow, and I'm sure Trials of Osiris is going to be linked into that, and the same thing with Prison of Elders. But there's a possibility, and again, speculation across this whole video. This whole video is going to be painted with speculation. I believe that they are going to revisit those raids and potentially give us upgraded gear from there, whether it's the same gear or maybe revamped ones, because way back data mining into Vault of Glass, people discovered there was another set of gear in there, so maybe they've been saving stuff for that, who knows, or it is the same gear, I don't know, but that's a possibility right there. It's also possible that maybe the weapons drop will be 365 damage, because if you're a new player and you jump in during House of Wolves and you're able to upgrade these weapons, say a Fatebringer, does that mean you're going to have to go to a level 30 Vault of Glass and get a 300 damage Fatebringer and then upgrade it? That doesn't make sense, does it? So I think they might actually make the weapon drops be the next level as well. And that's why I'm thinking maybe the raids as they are right now are going to get a level cap increase to be sufficient for that, in addition to these other encounters that they're going to add to it. So that's interesting. I don't know. I'm not the developer, so I don't have a yes or no answer to any of this, but I'm speculating and giving my thoughts as to what it all means. I also think that we shouldn't write off the House of Wolves content as no raid, period. I know that they said that they're not going to have a raid with it, and that is definitely grounds to be like, well, hey, obviously they're saying there's no raid. But that doesn't rule out the fact that they could release one during the summer. And that would be amazing, because that means it would have matured long enough for them to develop it, and also our Vanguard gear or whatever new gear that we get from these experiences aren't going to be like useless immediately, you know? So we should all keep that in mind. But that does mean a few implications, whether or not there's a raid in the summer or not. For one, if Comet comes out in September, then the timelines get a little skewed, because obviously Comet has to have a raid. That's like goes without saying, that there has to be some major content update, including an amazing raid at the end right there. So if we look at the timelines and we consider the fact that this is Activision, if they were to release a raid during the summer, then that would, let's say it's June 19th that they release it, then that would be July 19th, August 19th, and then September 19th would be 3 months after that. If they're going to release Comet in September, is 3 months time enough for a raid to mature, for everybody to get what they want, and then have a new expansion? I would think so. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, it's been December until, well, I mean, the last raid will technically have been to December, which, whew, that's a long time to wait for a new raid. So yeah, but something to consider is that if they were to push Comet, it's Activision, and Activision has another giant franchise that always releases in November. Specifically, Black Ops 3 is going to be coming out in November. I don't think that they're going to want to push the Comet release right up against Black Ops, because it's Activision, and they want to get as much of that green as possible. They want to rake in the green. They got cash coming out of their ears with these franchises, and I think they're going to want to make sure that they're not tapping out their clientele, because obviously there's some overlap. Obviously, people play Call of Duty, play Destiny, and same thing with Destiny and Call of Duty. There's not a clear separation between the two. There's obviously hardcore players on both sides that won't touch either one of the franchises, but that's besides the point. Activision knows that the player base is integrated to a degree, and they don't want to overstep on their finances. At least I'm speculating this again. But if they release a raid in the summer, then they are getting it really close to the release date of Comet. And again, 3 months versus what they gave us. Well, 3 months was the difference between Vault of Glass and Crota's End, and we, as a community, kind of complained about it. So maybe we're partly at fault as a community for their release dates now getting pushed. But is that a bad thing? Because if we had an amazing raid, that'd be awesome, right? I think it'd be awesome. So yeah, those are some things to think about. If Comet is going to happen in September, does that affect the raid potential of House of Wolves, if there is any kind of raid whatsoever, or any kind of content that gets released between House of Wolves and Comet? I'm hoping there is, because I don't know if Prison of Elders and Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner are going to fill in all those gaps that are needed. Speaking of the other gaps, Prison of Elders, yes. So this looks really interesting. It looks like an arena-style horde mode type of thing, and I think Destiny needs more content like this. If you look at the end game, it does consist of a lot of replayed missions, and we all know that we want more content. So, if Prison of Elders can successfully combine new experiences that are randomized and feel fresh and give new loot and all that, that would be amazing, because that's what we want as a community, especially for the PvE community, because yeah, obviously there's people who love the PvP side, they're happy with that, and there's people who love the PvE side and want more content, understandably so. So Prison of Elders sounds like a call to the PvP or PvE inspired community that wants more activities to dig into. If you look at Diablo, and this is maybe a little unfair comparison because Diablo is the 3rd generation of the game, Diablo 3, and it's had 3 years to mature into an expansion to have its current endgame. Because I'm going to talk about the Diablo 3 endgame as it is right now. That endgame is awesome. You have bounties, just like in Destiny, but you do enough bounties, and then you get awarded a cache, and this cache can have legendaries in it. So you do 5 bounties, you get a cache. Kind of like the reputation packages, only they come much quicker. You could do them like within 20 minutes and then get one of these packages. And then you also get these Rift Stone keys. You open this Rift Stone key and it creates a randomized level with randomized monsters from all 5 of the acts of Diablo. And you go through there and the legendary drop rates are higher, and you can get better loot in general and access to things that you don't get anywhere else in the game. Like I think there's even new maps that they introduce in there from time to time. That is a really fun end game experience, because it's like, oh, if I'm on Earth and I were to see the Cabal suddenly show up and it's a bunch of majors, like that would be interesting. I'd be like, whoa, I want to see that happen again. Or if I'm on Venus and you know, the Hive show up and start, you know, the Tomb ships show up or something like that. I mean, that would be something that would make me go, oh, I want to see that experience again, and I want to go back and try that again. So Diablo 3 has something amazing for the end game now. And again, it's an unfair comparison because it's a 3-year-old game and it's the 3rd generation of the franchise. But they've got it down because those rifts open up randomized experiences with all the monsters that are available in the game, and they have higher legendary count or higher legendary possibilities that drop in the rifts themselves. And then beyond that, they made it further and made greater rifts, which get more difficult as you progress through the rifts. So it actually creates a challenge for PvE players to be like, okay, I can clear this rift in this amount of time. Now maybe I can try it again, see how high I can get. And that's what their season boards are, who can clear the highest rift and all that. That's a very interesting concept, and I would absolutely love it if Destiny somehow incorporated some of those elements. I don't know if Prison of Elders is going to even touch it. It would be amazing if it did, because it really does need a randomized end game experience. Because the raids are awesome, but you can do them till you're done. And the strikes, rock strikes, are great templates for something like this. They just don't randomize the enemies, and they don't randomize the experience, you know? So yeah, I'm hoping Prison of Elders delivers on some end game randomized content, because it really does need it. Then we have Trials of Osiris. We have talked about Trials of Osiris since September, been excited about it, and then it just went away, and now it's finally coming. And also seems like the Queen's bounties might be coming too, just less featured. Because there's obviously, we're going to be talking to the Queen, we're going to be doing stuff for her, which seems like bounties. So it seems like the Queen's bounties are going to be in there somewhat, just not as exciting as they once were. Time will tell what that's going to officially be. In fact, next Wednesday, let me look at the schedule real quick. Next Wednesday, they are going to be revealing the Reef and doing a walking tour and talking about the upgrade pass for the gear, which is very exciting. But first, I want to talk about Trials of Osiris. I'm really excited about this. I actually don't know all the details that they've talked about in the past about it. So I know it's PvP related and you have to get a key or something like that, and then you get to do the trial or something. That sounds awesome. I'm really excited about it, because more content, the better. I want more content, period. So with no raid, I really hope the Prison of Elders and Trials of Osiris fills a giant hole. Like, for me, I'm going to be playing the game regardless, and I love Destiny, and I will be buying Comet when it comes out and so on and so forth, but I really hope that this DLC blows us out of the water, because I think it needs to. I think it really needs to impress the community. I hope we go, wow, this feels like Destiny 2 or something. Like, this is amazing, you know? So, with that said, I think Trials of Osiris also may have something to do with upgrade gear. This is, again, speculation. They're going to be talking next Wednesday about the upgrade paths, giving us some sort of insight into it. And like I said before, if you're a new user, brand new to the game Destiny, and you come in and you see somebody using a Fatebringer, would it make sense that you'd have to go to the Vault of Glass, get that Fatebringer to drop for you at 300 damage, and then go through some hoops to upgrade it to 365? I don't think that would make sense, and I don't think the developers are going to do that. So that's why I'm thinking that the current raids are going to get upgraded. And I think that the upgrade path for current weapons will be difficult. And difficult in that it's time consuming. Not really difficult to achieve, but difficult in that, like, you got to do this and you got to do that, you got to do this, or something like that. Because I bet it's going to involve something with the Trials of Osiris and Prison of Elders to get really rare materials that upgrade your legendaries. The big question is, will they do armor as well? I don't know. I think it's a possibility that they will, especially if they're going to upgrade. If they increase the light level cap of the current raids, then it would make sense. But this will definitely be a Destiny first, where you have a light level cap increase and no new raid. So we're going to see what they introduce, how they're going to change the ecosystem of the game, and how we're going to respond to it as a community. Because we are going to respond, that's for sure. We're going to be loud and vocal. So yeah. Yeah, let me look at the notes real quick, see if I have anything else here. Yes, I did want to talk real quick about the leaked image from a few months ago about all the gear that was supposed to be in House of Wolves, because there's clearly raid gear. We got Wolfwalker Helm, Will of the Archon, Eyes of the Kell. Like, these are all supposedly specific raid pieces that come with House of Wolves. They also got these exotics. Two of them, I just want to mention two of them real quick that I think are really cool. And this is going to be a little biased because my favorite is a hunter, so I apologize to the Warlocks and Titans for not talking about those exotics, but there's 3 exotics that are coming for each class, and at least in this image, we don't know if they've scrapped all this and redone it. But the one, there's 2 of them for the hunter that I think are really interesting. Unremarkable Bones upgrades double jump with an additional jump. So does that mean that with those boots, hunter is going to be the new highest jump class? Like, are you going to be able to equip higher jump and then have an even higher jump after that? Like, that's going to be kind of nuts to find out and experiment with. And I don't think it's going to be game breaking or anything like that, but just fun to mess around with. The other one is Exotac Angel Hunter. This one might not be obvious, but it says it significantly increases your weapon's accuracy for a short time after jumping. At first, maybe you're thinking, meh, why would I want that? If you're a fan of Halo and you've played enough Halo, you know that in Destiny, you can't just jump and shoot your gun like you could in Halo. And I wonder if this helmet will get you close to that. Because right now, the current closest ability to that is the hand cannons. The hand cannons have the smallest reticle when you jump. Because every time you jump, you'll see the reticle bloom a little bit. Well, not bloom, but like it expands, and it changes per weapon as well. The reticle has a wider change when you jump in the air. The hand cannons have the smallest one, that I've noticed anyways. So if this helmet allows me to jump in the air and like shoot with a scout or a hand cannon, like shoot with Thorn with precision, that would be incredible. I'd probably rock that helmet a lot, because that was one of my favorite things to do. Actually, the favorite thing to do in Halo for me was no scope shots with the sniper, which is very difficult in Destiny because there's no reticle, and I don't play with one of those monitors with the reticle in the center. So if that gets me closer to that experience, I'll be interested in that. But anyways, that's all I want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This has just been me rambling on about House of Wolves and potentials. None of it's confirmed aside from the details that Bungie has released, so who knows? Raid or no raid in the summer, I will definitely be playing this game. I love Destiny, and I'm excited to see what they do with it, and I think we're in good hands with the Bungie developers. We got to give them a chance, because we've responded loudly to them, and once they release more content, we're going to respond even louder, regardless of how much they give us. So I think that's what makes us a good community, is how loud and vocal we are, because we can really make them think, you know? It's much better to be honest than to sugarcoat things with the developers. So, alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
With you, every day's a mystery. We'll go down in history, us two. And when we get old and we feel weak, put your lips against my cheek.